Hi everyone, let's talk money. So we talk quite a bit about money on this channel because we talk about building a business as a teacher, specifically online, to, supplement your income and even, create your own income if you would prefer to do that than being in the classroom full time. But today we're going to talk about something a little bit different. So we're going to talk about how to manage your money specifically for your business. So this is really important because your business will never thrive if you cannot manage your money well. So we're going to be talking about how to manage your money, a couple of different principles for how to manage your money, a couple of quick tips to just kind of help you out, and just all of the different things. Before we get started, I did want to mention two things. Number one is, if you are watching this and you are absolutely brand new to new business, you just made like your first dollar and you are excited and you're like, do I need to bother managing my money when it's only $1? The answer is yes. If you are new, this is the perfect time to put all of these strategies in place because you haven't created any bad habits yet. So if you are brand new and have not made any money or just made a little bit of money, that is awesome. Start implementing these strategies now so that once you are making some money, they will be super easy. They'll be habits and you will be like set up for success. That's what I want for you. So even if you are brand new, do it now. If you are not brand new and you've been around for a while and you've been not managing your money very well, then I would also encourage you to take a look at your financials, to watch this video, and to really implement any of the strategies that you think are going to help, because money can be like a huge stressor. It often is a huge stressor, but it really doesn't have to be if you can just kind of set things up well so that you can be a little bit less stressed. So being able to like actually manage your money is going to be a huge stress reliever for you, I promise. Now, point number two I want to make before we get started on anything is that no matter where you are in your business, if you are brand new, if you're thinking about starting a business and you haven't done it yet, or if you've had a business for 5 years, your business money needs to be separate from your personal money. It needs to be in a different account. They should not be combined because your business is not you. It is a business. We talk a ton on this channel about treating your business like a hobby versus treating it like a business. And this is one easy way that you can treat your business like a business, by having a separate bank account for your business. The reason is, if all of your, bank account is mixed in with your normal bank account, then what's gonna happen is you're never gonna remember what expenses are for your business. It's like, oh, you just buy clip art, and did it come out of money that you had in the business? Did it come out of your grocery budget? Like, who knows? Because it's just all there in one big lump sum pile. Not okay. And that can just really be difficult. You're spending money that's supposed to be for the business, or you're spending money that's not supposed to be for the business, and it's just like, it's a big headache. So open a separate account for your business, preferably a business account. But if you are brand new and you're like, I don't even know if I'm willing to like do this, then the first step for you, I would say, is to open like a second personal account and call it your business account. This is what I did at first. I was like, I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know if I'm gonna make any money. And so I just opened up a second personal account. And so I had like, this is my actual personal account, and then this is my personal account, but I'm calling it the business account, and I'm treating it like a business account where the business money goes in, the money that comes out is for business expenses, like all of that kind of stuff. And it really helped to keep things separate. And then once I realized I was going to be in this for the long run, then I went and actually opened a business account at the bank so that it was, more official. But at least start by separating it so that you have that line in the sand of like, this is the business, this is my life, because they should not be all meshed into one. So with those quick little tips out of the way, let's hop into how to manage your money. Now, this is going to be kind of a like part 2 revised version of a video that I put out last year, because I have changed it, and specifically I changed it because I read this book. So this book is called Profit First, and it is amazing. It is the best book I've probably ever read about money, specifically business money, but really about any money. Like, if you have money troubles, read this book. It's so good. If you don't have money troubles, also read this book because it's so good. Highly recommend. I'm planning on reading it a second time. but it's great. So what I was already doing is what I'm suggesting to you is when you get your income, when I get my income, when you get, you know, TPT pays you out, take that money and separate it into like different little buckets for different things. And that's something that they reiterated in the book as well that I was already doing. But they did help me to kind of adjust things and see things slightly differently. So in your like different buckets that you want to separate out your money into, you want to make sure that you are saving money for taxes. You want to make sure you're saving money for taxes. You want to make sure you're saving money for taxes. I'm going to say that 3 times because sometimes people forget. You want to make sure that you're saving money for expenses for the business. And then you want to make sure that you're also getting to like pay yourself your owner wages. And then on top of that, there's other things that you might want to have in your business. So one is a profit account, which we'll talk about a little bit later. One is an emergency account. You don't have to have this, but I like having the satisfaction of knowing this is here. And then if you are employing anybody, then you want to have a bucket for wages. Now, what they suggest in the book, and this is what has like truly changed my life, is actually having separate bank accounts for each of these different things, which seemed like a lot. But you know what? The good thing is that these days you can do almost all of your banking online. So I set all of this up and I like barely even had to talk to a person. And it was great because if I walked into a bank and I was like, hey, I need, you know, 5 bank accounts, they'd be like, what's wrong with you, lady? But being able to do it online, no one judges you. So that is really nice. And this has made a huge difference. I already did like the different percentages, but I was just keeping track of like, okay, in a spreadsheet, like this is how much money I have for, you know, saving for taxes, and this is how much money I have in my emergency fund, but they were in the same account, and it was just very complicated. And so separating these all out, I literally have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 different bank accounts in my business account for these things. And so when I actually have 6. I have 6. So what I do with mine and what I suggest to you is when I get paid from TPT, it all goes into my income bank account, and that is a savings. So some of these are savings and some are checking, just depending on what it is. So it goes straight into my income account, and then once a month is what I prefer to do because it just makes life easy. Once a month at the beginning of the month, I will sit down and I will divvy out the money into the other accounts based on what I've already decided I'm going to do. Now those accounts again are one for taxes. So you want to make sure you're saving for taxes. If you are in the US, you can check out the IRS's website to see what tax bracket you will fall in, and then you can save that amount. I save a little bit extra just in case because taxes freak me out and I don't want to be, you know, messing anything up. So I make sure that I have that separate in its own account, and I love having taxes in its own account because then I don't touch it, I don't look at it, I know it's not mine, it belongs to Uncle Sam and it's not for me. Then I have my expense account. So this is a checking account where I put a certain amount of money in for all of the expenses that come up. So that's if I need to buy pens, if I need to buy, oh my gosh, y'all, the thumb drives and memory cards have been like a whole thing recently. We're not going to get into it. That's where software comes out. My like email marketing software takes money out of there. That's where I pay everything out. And that's, you know, it's expenses. That's what it is. That's pretty simple. After that, I also have an emergency account. So for this one, I just put in a certain amount every month, or if you're saving up for something big, you could do that instead. I just like having the extra money just in case I have a short month and I have big expenses that month, because I have some things that are like yearly fees. And so if I have like a low month income wise, but then I have like this big expense because it's like it just happens to be the month that yearly fee comes out, then I have that extra cash that I can put into there. So it just is like a to make Becca feel better account. I just put a little bit of money into there every month. If you have any employees, then you want to make sure you have a separate account for wages that you put money into so that you can cover their wages, obviously. And you can maybe have like a little bit of a backstock and just, you know, a little bit extra just in case. You will notice as we talk that I'm quite cautious with my money and I have a lot of just in cases. And then also you'll want to have your owner account. I don't actually have like an owner account. I just send it to my account and I deal with it over there, but that's the money that you pay yourself. On top of that, what this book, Profit First, talks about is the profit account. So this is something I had never heard of because I didn't go to business school. But profit is basically, you know, all the money that you have left over after you pay all your expenses. And the idea is that when your business grows, you want to make sure that you have some money in profit, some money in the bank that is not being spent. So he suggests, and what I am doing is putting money into my profit account, and then once a quarter, you get to take your profit account and take half of it out for you. And then the other half stays in the business. So that way your business is growing in size because it has more money in the business every month. If you need the money, it's there to use for something, if you just happen to need it for something. And you get to pay yourself out like a bonus every quarter, which is extra exciting. So that is, and the idea being that usually that a lot of public companies pay dividends to their stock members every quarter-ish, you know, depends on who, you know, some do every quarter, some do every month, but the idea is that basically every quarter you're paying out your owner. You're the owner, so every quarter you get to pay yourself a little extra. And that's just, it's like a really nice little thing. So those are the different little like pots, actually literally accounts that you would want to have for your business. Now, how do you know how much to save? So some of them are really easy, like again, for taxes, you can just go on the IRS website, you can see what tax bracket you're gonna fall in, and you can save that much money, easy peasy. For the rest, they might be a little more difficult. So I would suggest after you figure out how much you need to pay in taxes, then you wanna look at your expenses. And looking at your expenses, see like, okay, what do I pay for every month? And then what do I pay for over the year? Divide that by 12 so that you have your monthly expenses, and you want to make sure that you have at least that much going in. So if you have, you know, $100 of expenses every month, you want to make sure you have at least $100 going in. I would suggest having a percentage system, so figuring out what percentage of your income you're going to put into your expense account, and obviously make it more than what you need for your expenses. So if your expenses are usually $100, make sure that you're putting in at least $100. This is going to be one of the biggest areas that is going to change all throughout, because especially at the beginning, if you are making no money, then a lot more of your money is going to need to go to expenses. I, for a really long time, paid myself like 10% and then like 20%. And y'all, that was usually like $10. I would make like $10 and I'd be like, okay, that's all I get, because I had to put so much into my expense account because I, you know, had to pay for my website and I had to pay for my TBT premium and, you know, like different things like that would come up. So I had to make sure there was money in there for those things rather than paying myself. So at the beginning, this percentage might be really high and it can get smaller as you go. And I would really suggest you get it smaller as you get, and we'll talk more about that later. And then same thing with, once you have that figured out, then you can look at whatever you have left and figure out percentages for the other buckets that you have. The main thing you want to look at is how much do you need to save in taxes and how much do you need for expenses, and then the rest is very much up to you for however you want to delegate it, because you are in charge of your business. So I will tell you how much I do in mine, and again, it's changed a lot and it changed frequently at first because again, I wasn't making any money. And yes, I have literally done this since the first month when I made $7. I literally, like, I had months I would transfer like $2.40 to myself and be like, yay, I got paid. Like, I mean, literally just because I wanted to have that discipline from the beginning, and I'm so glad I did, because now it is very, very easy to do this. It's a very much a habit. Like, I just already had that system in place. So mine currently right now, and again, subject to change, take this with a huge grain of salt, don't do it just because I do it. I save 30% for taxes. Based on my current tax rate, I think that is plenty. And if we need, and you know, you can reevaluate that every year. If you're not saving enough, you can add more and all of that. I put 10% into my expenses, and that seems to be enough for me. Some months is higher than others, obviously. I'm currently paying myself 55%, which is the highest that I've ever paid myself. And I can do that because I don't have a ton of expenses. I don't have any employees. And so I get to pay myself a little bit more than I maybe should. You know, it sounds like a lot when I say it, but then I'm also like, well, I'm the one who does all the work, so why shouldn't I take the money? it's my money. And so that's what I'm currently doing because I, you know, still have plenty to cover my expenses, and so it's not an issue. And then for my profit account, I'm putting in 5%, which is not a ton. It's just a little bit. I would love to get it to more like 10%. But right now we're at 5. And then for my emergency account, I take $50 to like $200 out of my expenses depending on the month. So if I have a low month, then I'll just put a little bit of money in there. If I have a high month, then I'll put a little bit more. And it's just kind of, it's not a percentage basis, just however I think that I can deal with it. And again, because it's just extra, it's just in case, it's just to make me feel better. And so it's not like a huge, it's not quite as much of a thing for me. So that's what I do for that. You obviously don't have to. Now again, just because that's how I do it does not mean that's how you do it. I have changed it many, many, many times over the years, but that's where I am. One thing they suggest in the book is to kind of figure out what is practical now and then what you would like to move to. So like I said, I'm currently doing 5% profit and I would love to do maybe more like 10%. The idea is that you keep it at 5, and then after a few months, if you see that you can take another percentage out of one of the other pots, then you can make it at 6% and take 1% out of something else and then keep moving up. And you can do the same thing with your earnings. You know, if you only are making enough money to take 10% home, but you want to take 50%, then maybe you can look for another percent and you can do 11% in a couple of months, and you know, just keep adding more until you get to where you want to be. And now again, that changes a lot. So that is the main portion of how to take care of your money and all the book. Obviously it goes into much more detail. It talks a lot about like what to use all of these different things for. I highly recommend the book. It will be linked down below. I do have 3 more things I want to tell you about taking care of your money and managing your money as a business owner. And the first one is that you need to make sure that you are tracking all of your expenses. So anything that you pay for needs to be tracked. You need to know how much you paid for it, where the money came from, and all of that for tax purposes. And then also just because it's good to know because you're a business owner. So when I first started, I literally just had like a notebook where I would just write down like, okay, I spent $5 on clip art today. Okay, I, you know, spent however much money. And then I upgraded myself to a spreadsheet once I got a little bit higher. Oh, also make sure you keep track of your income as well. That's probably even more important. And then I moved up to a spreadsheet, and so I would type in, you know, okay, same kind of thing. I spent this much money at this place on this day. This is how much it was. And now that my business financials have gotten much more complicated because I have more streams of income, I have upgraded myself this year to QuickBooks, and that has been really helpful because it is so much easier. Now at the beginning, you know, when I was buying like one thing a month, it wasn't a big deal, but now my main thing is I have so many different streams of income that they're hard to keep track of. And so having QuickBooks is a really easy way for me to keep track of everything, because I can keep track of how much I got in from TPT, how much I got in from Etsy, how much I got in from my courses, you know, just all of these different things that are providing me with different streams of income. It's so much easier to keep track of them. And then it automatically keeps track of all the expenses out of my business account. So every time I swipe my card, it'll automatically show up, and then I can like categorize them, and it makes life really easy. And my accountant's hooked up to it, so I don't even have to like send her anything at the end of the year. I can just be like, it's all in the QuickBooks. And then if she has questions, she can email me. Or text me, but you know, it's all there. So make sure that you are keeping track of that stuff, even if it's just in a notepad, that's fine. Number 2 little things I want to tell you is as much as you can, keep your expenses down. The best way to have a profitable business is to have low expenses. So expenses are things you have to purchase. The less you have to purchase, the better, because the more you can take home. And that's the point of the business, is really to provide you with some income. So any way that you can keep your expenses down is going to be great. I think we're gonna have a whole video about this, but a couple little things. One, make sure that any software you purchase, you're actually that's really the whole thing. Make sure you're using what you're doing. So make sure if you're buying software that you are actually using it. Make sure that you scrub your email list every few months so that you're not paying for people who aren't on your email list. Make sure that, oh, clip art is a huge one. When you go to buy clip art, make sure that you have an idea for what you're gonna use it for in your brain. I just saw the cutest clip art. It's Christmas clip art, and Christmas clip art is like my Achilles heel because it's just so cute and I can't handle it. And I really want to buy it, but I was like, I have to have a reason to purchase it. So I stuck it on my wish list, and I'm thinking, and I'm trying to come up with something cute to do with it so that I can buy it because it's just so cute. But make sure that you have a purpose for all of the clip art you purchase before you purchase it, so that you are not, you know, wasting it. If you're buying courses or books or any of that kind of stuff, make sure you're gonna have time to do them. I have a course that I have my eye on, and I have not purchased it yet because it came out right as school came back in, and I was like, I don't have time to do a course and run my business and work full-time. So I haven't purchased it yet, but it's on my list, and so I might purchase it like over Christmas break or something like that, where I will have a little bit more time and I can actually like really enjoy it and dive deep into it. I do purchase quite a few books. Books are great because you can buy them used. I usually will buy them like from Goodwill off of Amazon. They're usually like $4. It's a great thing and I love it. And so that's one of my favorite ways to consume information. I enjoy reading. I enjoy consuming it that way. And I love that it takes longer because I feel like it seeps into your brain a little bit better. Anyway, make sure you're gonna use whatever it is you purchase, because the best way to have a profitable business is to keep expenses down. He talks a lot in this book about making sure your business is not a, what is it called? A cash eating monster. Don't make your business a cash eating monster. Make sure it's actually, you know, profitable. And so just keeping that expenses down is gonna be great. And the good thing for us is that we really don't need that much expenses. You know, you don't need office space. You don't have to have someone work for you. You don't have to have all these things that other people have if you have like products and different things, because our business is online. So we do have that advantage. And the last thing I want to say is that you should start even when you're small and revise this every few months or every year or so. But especially at the beginning, like go back and look at it every month and say, is this practical? Is this working for me? If it's not working for you, change it. If you don't have enough money in expenses or you're not paying yourself enough, change it so that it is practical and it is working for you. Whew, okay, fun fact. This is my third time filming this video because I filmed it once, didn't like it, filmed it a second time, accidentally deleted it. And now we're on to time number 3. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully I don't accidentally delete it. And I would love to know any of your questions down below. As you know, I nerd out about talking about money, and specifically, this is where my heart lies. Like, I remember being a kid and I would like take my piggy bank and I would dump all the money on the floor, and I would sit there and like stack my quarters and like figure out how much money I had, and then I would take my little notepad and I would be like, okay, if I make $1 a week in allowance, it would take me this long to buy this Barbie. And like, it was like a whole thing, and I am still exactly the same way. So I nerd out about it. I would love to chit chat more about money topics, and especially this kind of stuff, budgeting, that kind of stuff. So let me know if you're interested in that. I've been reading lots of books about money, so if you're interested in that, let me know. And if you have any questions, let me know. You can also always message me over on Instagram. It's at Becca.e.davis if you have any more questions or more specific or personal questions. So feel free to message me over there. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you're doing. And buy this book. You'll thank me later. Anyway.